Welcome to Eden's Grove. I'm Eden, and today we're going to be exploring different ways to make your meditation practice feel more personal. This video is perfect for whether you are a brand new meditator or if you've been meditating for a while and are looking to deepen your practice. No matter who you are, I believe that this is so valuable to create a practice that feels distinctly yours. I had been meditating off and on for a while. For a little while, I was a lot more consistent with the practice, but it really felt a lot more like a chore that I had to get done. Kind of like, I have to go to the gym again, I have to meditate. But as soon as I started making my practice my own, as soon as I started thinking outside the box and really trusting my intuition about what things worked for me and what things didn't, I saw a huge, drastic change in my practice very, very suddenly. And I think that adding these elements of consistency and also elements that just resonate deeply with you really give so much depth and power to your practice that is really undescribable. So I hope that you find something in this video. This isn't just things that you need to do every single one of. These are just things that I would love if you would try. So let's get right into 5 ways to make your practice feel more personal. Number 1 is preparing your space. Meditation is all about feeling at home in your own body. And so the space in which you meditate should feel deeply like your home. It should feel like your space. So do whatever you can to make this the coziest place that you can. Put out artwork that you love, put out decorations or knickknacks that you love to look at. Bring in colors that you love. Bring in textures that make you feel cozy. Bring blankets, pillows, put on cozy clothes, put on fuzzy socks, light a scented candle that you love the smell of. Absolutely anything that can make this feel like your space. One thing specifically is if you can have a window where you can look out at nature at any point. I find that that is really beautiful, especially if you can have a specific space only for your meditations. I find that that can be really powerful, but I completely understand that that is not available for everyone. And so, if you don't have a standalone space for your meditations, I do recommend just slightly shifting or altering the space in some little way just to kind of cue your brain that this is now the meditation space. So that could be moving a chair in a different direction. It could be putting out one decoration. It could be absolutely anything to just cue your system that it's time to slow down and begin to look inwards. Number 2 is to create some sort of personal ritual for right before your meditation. In the same vein as moving to a different location to cue your mind to its meditation time, I feel like having a ritual adds so much consistency to your practice, which really, really helps deepen it to a way that feels like you're building on something. So, this ritual could be literally anything. It could be a mantra, it could be just humming or chanting, It could be a little paragraph that you recite every time before your meditation of things that you like to remember. It could be listening to a song. It could be doing a yoga pose that you particularly love. Anything that you can kind of do every single practice to really help arrive in the practice from the very first second. I find that having this ritual is especially helpful if you try different techniques, different types of meditation. I find that having a ritual the same at every single one of them really helps with that consistency, and it really, really helps deepen your practice. One thing I'll recommend trying that I've found particularly helpful is to have some sort of somatic or physical element to your ritual. Something like a yoga pose or just gently swaying your spine. I find that having that physical element, at least for me, really helps me get out of my head and into my body, which again really, really helps to just arrive in that very first moment of the meditation, and it really helps set you up for success. Number 3 is to find your reason why. What fuels you to do these meditations? What is the reason behind why you want to be here? This isn't the kind of question that you should come up with an answer right off the top of your head. I really encourage you to sit with this question until you come up with an answer that really resonates with you. And this shouldn't be the top 5 reasons or the top 10 reasons. This should be a very clear and succinct reason behind what you're doing. I will say that I personally think it is more helpful if your reason why includes other people. I find that there's a lot more power there. But if your reason is completely personal, that is completely fine. It is completely up to you. Again, it should be something that resonates really, really deeply with you. And then once you've found your reason why, I really, really encourage you to repeat this reason why right before every single meditation. And this shouldn't be said out of habit. Really feel the words every single time you say it. Let it sink down, deep down into you. Not just reciting them because it's the time to recite the words, but because you really want this reason to light the fire in what you do. And that is going to add so much power to your practice. Number 4 is to try different things, which can sound like a no-brainer, but I find that sometimes people, when they find a meditation style that works for them, they kind of stick with that and that's it, which is fine. If that works for you, that's perfect. But I do recommend trying different styles, trying different techniques, trying different schools of thought. Even if you've found a style that works really well for you, maybe you find a new technique that works even better. Or maybe you try some different techniques and it just reaffirms that this original technique does work really well for you. And then that just adds more strength to your knowing that your practice is something that really resonates with you. But I do want to stress that you want to try new things, but you also want to have consistency in your practice. I feel like there's this beautiful sweet spot in the middle where you want to try new things to keep your practice fresh, to keep it exciting, again, to see different things, to see if they resonate with you. But you do also want to have a level of consistency with your practice. Next week's video is actually going to be about developing a core practice that you can be consistent with. And so, yeah, I feel like finding this balance can be very, very difficult. But if you can find that balance between trying new things and experimenting with different things in your meditation practice, and also having a core practice that's consistent, I find that that is where you'll find the biggest amount of growth. And then number 5 is journaling. There are so many different ways that journaling can help with your meditation journey, especially if you are trying out different techniques. This can be a great way for you to document what techniques work, what things don't. You know, if you are feeling uninspired, then you can flip through your journal and see, oh, this worked really well and I haven't done that for a while. Maybe I'll do that again. And another thing that journaling can really, really help with is to get into those deeper emotions that can be difficult to confront. At least for me, sometimes when facing hard emotions in a meditation, they can be very emotionally charged. But if after your meditation you write out the feelings that you had, you write out the commentary that went along with it, set it aside for a little while, and then come back to it later when you're not emotionally charged, I find that that helps me process things a lot better. Because a lot of the times when you just look at the words on the page, you realize how silly that inner critic is when it's not accompanied by that very strong emotional charge. And so that I find very, very beneficial. But again, journaling can look so many different ways. And so I really invite you to experiment with different things. And again, just like making your home and your space where you meditate feel cozy, your journal should feel cozy and at home as well. Go and splurge on a nice journal that you think is cool. Go dust off those gel pens that you haven't used for 20 years. Get some really cool stickers just to decorate the pages, just to make it feel personal. So I hope you found something helpful in this video. Again, this is not a checklist of things that you need to accomplish in order to have a good meditation. These are simply invitations for you to try different things to deepen and expand your practice. And again, I think this is such an important and overlooked part of meditation. For the longest time, I was just following what people would say. And as soon as I started thinking outside of the box, trying something completely different, veering off the railroad tracks, that's when my practice transformed from just a thing I did into a love affair with the unfolding of life. And I really, really hope that you can find some way to make your practice feel like a gift to yourself, because it really, really is. But next week, we are going to be looking into creating a foundational, consistent meditation. So make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss that. And you may as well hit the like button while you're down there anyways. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.